Welcome out on the Golden Bear Sports Network. It is the Spring Sports Preview. I'm Chris Malanga, sitting alongside Coach Chad Savage. I always call you Coach. I don't know why, but you're our athletic director here at Bryan High School, and we had a really busy winter. As before we get started with the spring, let's talk a little bit about the winter and some great sports activities in the winter.
Thanks for having me. Again, it's probably the 27 years of teaching and coaching is where the coach comes into play. But yeah, again, very successful winter sports season, and hopefully it's going to elevate us right into the spring as well. We've already started some competitions, and hopefully we're going to have just as much success in the spring season.
All right, so in the winter we've got 5 sports basically: boys and girls basketball, wrestling, bowling, and swim and dive. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about each of those really briefly. Boys basketball, as you and I sat down this fall to talk about the winter sports, we have a new coach in Brock Homeyer, his first season. I know that the wins and losses didn't appear the way he wanted, but I think that a lot of success was had by the program.
Well, I think so. I think that Coach Homeyer and his staff was able to incorporate their process and start to create their culture within the program. And I think the kids are very hungry. I mean, and they're motivated from the lack of success that they had this year. The seniors went out, played very well, and received some recognition. But the younger classmen, the younger kids are really, really motivated to change the results that they had in 21-22. We see that in the weight room right now. We see that in the way they're competing in the spring, and we see that in the kids that are not in the spring sport, the things that they're doing on their own or with some teammates as far as ball handling, and just fundamentals of basketball when they want to improve.
They finished out 1-20 on the season. They got a lone win. If you're going to get one win last season, it's always great to get against Fairview.
Yeah, that was special for sure. And I mean, they were in. I mean, I had the opportunity to see 15, 16 games throughout the year, and they were in multiple games. Yep. They just could not finish. Yep. So I think that learning experience, that adversity is going to be able to propel the program in the very near future to success on the court.
Yeah, and then on the other side, girls basketball finished 7-0 in the league, 18-5 overall, and they won their 3rd straight league title.
Yeah, Coach Grosjean and his staff, 7-12. Actually, the youth program on up is doing very well. I mean, anytime you can win this league back to back says something, and we have a great senior class. I mean, they were part of 3 league championships, but the cupboard is not bare coming back. We have a very successful sophomore class, going to be juniors. We have a senior in Reese Grotehouse, who is one of the best players in the area. Yep. And I know that they are looking just to continue with what they've started.
Absolutely, and if you look at that underclassmen, those JV teams, the last couple of years, they lost maybe 1 or 2 games together.
Yeah, very successful, yes.
Absolutely.
And a very solid 8th grade class coming into high school next year to even compete more for playing time and for minutes.
Awesome. Let's move to wrestling, a sport I know that you have a passion for. You used to coach it here, and they had a successful season as well. I think at the beginning of the year when we talked to Coach Dominic, he was excited about being able to fill all the classes this year. Yeah,
they could not quite fill all the classes by the end of the season, just from injuries and things like that, but they were very successful. They had multiple league placers this year in a very tough. Our league in wrestling is as tough as any league in the state. I mean, when you have Delta, Liberty Center, Archibald, Wauseon, it's just, anytime you can crack into the top 5, whether an individual weight class or top 4 or as a team, it says a lot right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we had several kids that placed in the top 4. Zane Bell advanced to the district tournament and was 1 match away from being in that go-to match to state. So he got some great experience that I think we're going to see the improvement in him, in his athletic ability, his footwork, his toughness and aggression is going to pay off on the football field this fall.
Absolutely. So wrestling, we moved to bowling, and bowling has always had a ton of success. I think the girls have won the league every year that they have played, and that it's been a sport. This year they did not, though, but they still had some good competition and some good wins, both boys and girls.
Most definitely. They're very competitive. Unfortunately, early in the season, we had some COVID quarantines that impacted some of our regular season matches, and it kind of put them behind the 8 ball. But all we could ask for was an opportunity to compete for a league championship on that tournament Saturday, and they both had that chance. I mean, it was, they controlled their destiny to the extent of if they would have won the tournament, then they could have at least earned a share of the title. And our boys were able to do that. Our girls are right in the mix. I mean, we had Faith Harding, who's going to go on to bowl at Trine in college. as good as anybody in Northwest Ohio. And just a phenomenal bowler, and she kind of led our girls, and our boys team is just a lot of depth with them. So just Coach Gillette is doing a nice job developing that program. And actually this year we had some numbers too, which was very nice. Some kids got some good experience. They're going to go in, going to have to fill some varsity roles next year.
Awesome. And let's talk finally about swim and dive. And swim and dive is probably the program that consistently puts athletes into the state tournament, and the further progression, and that's no exception this year.
Coach Luce, Coach Rocky, and the swim team, it's just the workouts that they go through on a daily basis, heading into come tournament time, they're prepared, and they peak for either the districts or the state tournament. And we're fortunate to have some of the best athletes in the state. Kellen Rigg, I mean, you look at our record board, and it could be renamed the Kellen Rigg record board.
He's all over that place.
He's a part of 10 of the 11 records, whether it's individual or a part of a relay.
Wow.
It's just amazing. And we had a relay team that represented us down at state, and that would have been our 200 medley relay. They did not make the finals, but they were just hundredths of a second away from making either that second team all state race. Jackson Miller, 50 free. Ended up being second team All Ohio. Again, just he had a goal, and he actually had a mission. I mean, his mission was to break a certain number and to get to state, and then be on the podium. And he earned second team All State status. Kellen Rigg, he ended up second in the state in the 50 free, and that is again hundredths of a second from being a state champion. He was right there. And I think on our wall of fame in the gym we have 7 individuals that have either placed first or second in state competition, and he's the 8th in the history of Bryan athletics. So that's a lot right there.
When you think about it, like there's so many individual athletes that are on a swim, you know what I mean, to be that. I mean, how many athletes compete at that level, and lots.
I would say in the state. Yeah, in the state of Ohio Division II, there has to be 250 plus.
Yeah.
As far as kids that competed in the sectionals and looking to advance, and he's state runner-up.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. All in all, a successful winter sports season. And as we're recording this and talking about the spring, it kind of feels like winter out there still. And
it does, yeah.
Spring season is always very tough with cancellations and weather and things like that. You and TK are constantly busy, I'm sure.
Yeah, I left my phone in the office because I'm sure I'm getting messages right now as my watch is going off that we have some events that are scheduled for this afternoon that we may be altering, adjusting, changing, canceling, postponing, whatever. So yeah, we're looking forward to some good spring weather.
So spring sports well underway as the time we're talking here, but we've got a lot of successful teams that, they had success last year, softball and track and things like that, but they're looking for even more success this year. And, winter's over, we're here to spring, and let's talk about those teams. First, let's talk with baseball. We got a new coach in the baseball program, but not new to the program, just new as a head coach.
Yeah, Coach Walker's been with us for 5-6 years, and he's starting to implement his process into the Bryan baseball program. And it's really not to change a whole lot. It's just to continue the expectation of what Bryan baseball is. And I think that's what was the biggest thing about bringing him on board, is just to continue what it's been done for the last several years from Coach Tinselman, and even before that. Bryan baseball is in high regard all over Northwest Ohio, not only with our facilities, but with our play, with you name it. When it comes to Bryan baseball, they're a formidable foe. No one wants to play us in tournament time.
Well, I mean, absolutely. And baseball is just a big program here at Bryan. Some schools it's football or whatever, but at Bryan baseball's always been one of the stronger programs, and there's no difference this year. Got some upperclassmen there, but a lot of nucleus of young kids on that team, right?
Yeah, a lot of youngsters, not a lot of varsity experience. And I'll tell you what, the schedule that Coach Walker helped us put together is brutal. I mean, it is as tough as any D2 schedule, I would say, in the state. I mean, when you're playing Perrysburg, Anthony Wayne, St. John's, Van Wert, Bowling Green,
Central Catholic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we could go on and on. It's just we could have limited. I mean, not a lot of success early on as our younger kids get some varsity experience against the quality pitcher we're going to see. But yet we could have a lot of success in the league from a standpoint that we're ready. We're not going to see anything in the league that we haven't already seen from our non-league opponents.
I've always said that scheduling hard teams early on really sets you up for success in the postseason.
Oh, most definitely does. It sets up. We've seen the pitching. We've seen the small ball. We've seen the hitting. Our kids they'll be prepared. They'll be prepared for what happens down the tournament trail.
Also, briefly, the stadium improvements over at Sumter are really nice.
We literally, TK, Mrs. Kuzma and I, we have other schools that call and email that they want to come and play at our facilities, whether it's our Sumter Field, whether in the park in Bryan Red Park, or whether it's Field 5, our girls softball field. They would rather travel.
And play
because a lot
facility.
of D4 schools in the area, they know that the district tournaments are held here, and they'd like their kids to have that experience playing in our facility.
Absolutely.
And then the improvements with the backstop,
moving the backstop in, putting some seats under there.
We're waiting for some grass to grow. But other than that, it's a marquee facility.
Awesome. So let's move to softball again. Field improvements over at softball. We've got some bleachers going up that people will notice that the structure of the press box is down and bleachers are up there, and that's kind of exciting to get some improvements there as well.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Bryan Girls Softball Association with the Parks and Rec program, they have the press box is down. The bleachers are being finished this week, hopefully, and they'll be ready to go for next week when we open up the league season. Again, it's just an amazing facility to watch a softball game.
It is.
And our team, Coach Fowls and her staff and her team will be competitive night in and night out. We're getting to the point right now where we've had multiple games canceled or postponed. So they're playing literally Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And next week it's Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, a doubleheader on Saturday. It's just, we're playing almost every night of the week. Some Wednesday nights, if we can get it in at 4 o'clock, we finish by 6. So there's not many practice nights right now. It's playing. And some of our younger kids are on the job training. They're learning as they compete.
And as we talk about softball and baseball, we can't neglect to mention the Betts facility, which is there. So when you have the weather that we have here in Northwest Ohio, you still have a place to go play.
Oh, no, most definitely. Being a head softball coach and part of the program for multiple years, having the Betts facility, it just had us ahead of most programs because we could simulate a lot of things inside. For softball especially, where we could have scrimmages in there, small ball scrimmages, bunting scrimmages, things like that not a lot of programs can do with the Northwest Ohio weather.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally, before we leave softball, let's talk about Addie Arnold for a second. All-Ohio pitcher last year and continuing that success this year.
Yeah, no, Addie she's a special young lady. She really is. I mean, her contributions to soccer in the fall, her contributions on the basketball court. Softball's her love, and she is a leader on the mound. She's going to keep us in every game. Her pitching, when she's pitching, she's going to keep us in every game. We just need to manufacture some runs, and we're going to be in the game, in it to win it. And she's just, it's a craft to her. Pitching is a craft. She works at it. In the summer, she plays on an elite travel team. She is a part of Sunday games in the fall, and she works at it in the Betts facility in the winter. She may have 2-3 basketball games in a week in multiple practices, and she's a great student as well. And Sunday afternoons, she will be in the Betts with Dad, throwing, working on her craft.
That's awesome. So softball and baseball, exciting getting that started. Let's talk about track and field. Garret Gleckler, who coached the girls last year, is now coaching both the boys and the girls, and so he's new as a head coach for the boys, but not obviously new to the program. And the one thing that I'm excited about and reading a little bit about his program is some upper class runners have come out that we wouldn't have thought of. Yeah,
we have some athletes that have joined the program this year that have not been a part of the program previously, and we're excited. At this point, we're hoping to get some weather here so they can compete in decent conditions, but they're just trying to figure out their specialty, whether they're in sprints, whether they're part of a relay, whether they're in jumps, throws, you name it. When an athlete like a Reese Grotehouse or Gwen Spangler joins your team first year as a junior or senior, you're just trying to figure out where they can help you score points.
Absolutely.
And Coach Gleckler and his staff, they're going to have some fun trying to figure out where to plug these kids in to earn points to the team.
And also some definite underclass runners there as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have some talent. I mean, we have some good numbers within the program. We have some, Colton Smith came out as a senior track and field runner, and he's, I think he's found something that he's really, really good at. And he's working hard at it, and he's going to help our relays, he's going to help our sprints, and again, we already have some kids that are back, like Quinn Brown, who's a dual sport athlete in baseball and track, and he's had some experience at the state meet. And
absolutely.
Great long jumper too.
Absolutely, and those track kids are hardy. They can run in 30-degree weather, which we've seen already this year.
Yeah, they've in wind of gust of 30, 40 mile an hour, and I know that a lot of, unless their kids have been participating, not a lot of people have wanted to be a part of watching the events. But just dedicated kids, dedicated parents, and support groups.
Yeah,
so they're traveling to Lima Bath, this weekend to be a part of a 12-team invitational.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's finalize this with boys tennis. Coach Mitchell Owens, 20-win season for the boys last year, and led by a kid named Jay Fortner, who has had success since his freshman year. I would have loved to see a sophomore year out of him with everything that happened, but wow.
Just after 2 years, his freshman year, missed his sophomore year, junior year, he tied the career wins with for Bryan High School tennis for the boys. First win this year, he owns it himself now. But just the team coming back, you have every starter coming back.
Absolutely.
Plus several JV players from last year that have improved immensely, and a freshman coming in that's already in the top 7. Based on his latter performance in spring practices. So needless to say, the expectations are very high. For example, last night we sent 2 teams. We sent a team down to Shelby to compete in an OTCA coaches state tournament match. 5-0 win for the team. That would have been our varsity starters last night, where our backup team, our second team, went over to Wasion to play their varsity and won 4-1.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
The depth that they have. We have multiple players that could be varsity on a lot of programs in Northwest Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's exciting to watch tennis, track and field, baseball, and softball. Real quick before we let you go, let's talk about the concept of a 12-sport athlete, because we have gotten 6 of those this year, right?
We do. We have, I think it's one of our most prestigious awards when we have kids that participate in multiple athletic seasons. And we have 6 seniors that have participated fall, winter, spring for 4 years. And the thing about them, these 6, is they are all amazing student athletes. I mean, their grade point averages are right at or near 4.0, and they excel in the classroom, they excel in the hallways, they excel within the team structure, and they do a nice job in the playing arena. And we have 4 young ladies. We have Addie Arnold, we have Delilah Taylor, we have Allie Zimmerman, and we have Brooke Taylor. And they're all been a part of, I don't even know how many league championships that those 4 girls have been a part of in the last 4 years. I mean, softball, there's been 1. There's been soccer has had 1. Basketball has had 3. None of those young ladies were in volleyball. Actually, Addie was as a freshman. No. Regardless, they've all been a part of very, very successful teams. Our 2 gentlemen, we have Carter Brown and we have Craig Jackson. Both of them have been a part of fall, winter, spring for 4 years. And it takes truly an amazing young person to be able to handle that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to keep the academics up as well.
Yeah. Again, and they all excel in the classroom.
Well, Coach, thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. We're going to talk to all the other coaches with the winter or the spring sports. It feels like winter. That's why I keep saying winter. With the spring sports, and we're going to kind of preview that. So I appreciate you getting us kicked off today.
Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for covering us. And we really appreciate all that you do for our students, our student athletes, our coaches, and our community.
We love to do it. We love to do it. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll start talking to those spring sports coaches right here on the Golden Bear Sports Network.
Enjoying the game on the Golden Bear Sports Network? These broadcasts are a labor of love. Want to join us in this effort? Become a sponsor starting at just $25 per game. For more information, email chris@bryansports.com or call 419-595-0943.
Welcome back out on the Golden Bear Sports Network. Chris Malenga alongside Coach Mitchell Owens of the boys tennis team. Coach, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Boy, I love the spring weather that we've got. Spring sports is always a crapshoot, as I talked about with the other coaches.
It is, and you're always going to get that cold day or two. This year, though, it's been exceptionally chilly and getting our fair share of snow right now.
Absolutely. So if my calculations are correct, you're at 329 and 99. I think that's about right.
That is
here
about
on the
right.
season.
Yes, that is
and
correct.
It's your 12th season here, and that boys team last year, we had lots of success with the girls team too.
Yeah.
But the boys team, was really good too, and you've had just a lot of success in the tennis program the last several years.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to have some really good players come through the program. Since the freshman year, the senior class has really shown promise, and the last couple of years has really shown the fruits of that.
And you lost a year with these seniors due to COVID, too.
I know. Well, especially the boys, right? Yeah, no, we did. And it's unfortunate because we probably have one of the best players that Bryan has had with Jay Fortner coming through, and he could have really, he's already going to set records and has set records, but, you just think, boy, if he'd had that extra year, what would have happened?
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about last year. 20 wins in 2021.
Yep.
You won the Northwest Ohio doubles tournament title. You sent 4 players to districts and a Division II state qualifier in Jay Fortner. Just an average tennis season.
Just an average tennis season. I'll take it again if it happens, But yeah, we had a tremendous year. Some of the younger players stepped up and made districts that we didn't think, was kind of questionable because there's a lot of competition in our sectional to advance. And then Jay, after that year of COVID off, he freshman year made it to the final 8 at state, and then he went back and did the same thing his junior year. So, lots of anticipation of what this season will bring, and also a lot of expectations that we got to meet.
Absolutely. So your entire team's back, which is kind of crazy. And 7 letter winners back, and I'm going to run through those. So Jay Fortner, you mentioned 2-time state qualifier. He's got the all-time career wins at Bryan. I think I calculated that up to 58.
Correct.
He has the school record for 32 wins in a season. That was set last year. And then, so obviously, a lot to talk about there. Carter Brown, a 3-year letter winner, a senior. Nathan Hess, he and Carter Brown, who are in the district doubles tournament. Yep. And then Craig Jackson, Aiden Andrews, and then the McCashins, Micah and Caleb, were all your letter winners. So good core nucleus coming back.
Yeah, great core nucleus, and we had a freshman that's in our varsity lineup, and I think we're actually stronger this year than we were last year. So, like I said, lots of excitement to have your whole team back. You're not starting, you're not trying to figure out pieces and parts. You're just going like, hey, this is what works. Landon sort of inserted in there, gives us more flexibility. And so we have a lot of options this year.
And Landon going to primarily play doubles? Is that how it's working out?
He has been the first couple of times, but we probably won't settle on one lineup. We'll probably change it up a few times because postseason we're not sure what that's going to bring. A lot of it's a chess game depending on what other teams do. Sometimes they double down their singles and go in doubles. So like I said, we have that flexibility with Landon to go doubles or singles. He's a quality player both ways.
All told, in the program for boys, how many kids are there between JV and varsity?
We have 15 in the boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it's great. No, I love the numbers. We had great numbers for the girls, and the tennis program has kind of grown, and part of the deal of building the 6 courts, we could carry a large team, and we've been able to do that.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. These courts are amazing, based a lot of donations that brought them here.
Oh yeah, no, we've had lots of comments over the last couple of years when we go to or actually teams visit. Just really surprised about the facility. We're hosting sectionals here now, and that would not have happened, if it weren't for this facility as well. So, yeah, even people that haven't been here, like, oh, here you got, some really cool courts up there. So, yeah, we're really proud of it, and we want to keep it up and continue to put signs on the fence and send those. Send those players to state.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about your other coaches that are helping you out.
Yeah. So, assistant coach Nathan Keel, we've been coaching together a long time, yeah, quite a while. And then this year we had Coach Adam Swisher, who's new. He used to play at Defiance College. He's actually friends with quite a few of the Bryan players back in his era that played at Defiance College. And so he's very familiar with Bryan. And he got a job here last year. and helped out with the girls, and we have them back with the guys, and it's really,
Awesome.
we got a great coaching staff.
Let's take a look at the season outlook. Tell me about how the season is set up and how things are going so far.
Well, early on, we accomplished one of our goals. So we lost 3 matches last year, 2 of them to Ottawa Glandorf, and then 1 to Ottawa Hills. So the Ottawa thing is the common denominator we want to try to correct this year. But our second match of the year, we played Ottawa Glandorf and kind of got a little bit of revenge. We won 4-1. It was our second match. And so that was one big thing, so we got to correct that. Ottawa Hills, they're going to be tough. They're always tough. We've beaten them in my 12 years only 1 time. But we think we have a chance this year. We think we got the team to do that. So that's a big one. Lima Shawnee's a big one. They sent 2 to state qualifiers, their top 2. And that's going to be a tough match for us. So we have a few matches there that we're really targeting as being critical matches for us to go from a good season to a great season.
Now, let's talk about kind of the makeup of the season, because isn't there a point in the season where you guys go into like a doubles tournament, like right in the middle of the season, or
There's
towards...
a couple things. So yeah, tennis is really strange. Actually, our postseason team tournament is not postseason. It's, as a matter of fact, next Wednesday we travel to Shelby for the first round of the state team tournament.
Okay.
And they do that. So there's 2. It's an individual sport. It's a team sport. Not unlike golf or some of those others where you kind of travel 2 different tracks. But in tennis, they play the team aspect of the state team tournament throughout the whole season. And then the individual one is strictly postseason. And then they culminate over Memorial Day for boys, where they play the individual Friday, Saturday, and the team on Sunday. So yeah, we start our state team tournament match next Wednesday. We travel that great distance to Shelby, which we made that drive. That was the funny thing is, it's our first round match for boys. For girls, it was our go-to match to make it to the Final Four. So I'm familiar, and Coach Switcher's familiar with not only the drive, but just the courts and kind of the familiarity with everything. But we feel good going into that match.
Awesome. So do you play in a league?
We play, it's called the NBTL. It's basically several teams from around the area that don't have a tennis league. Like NWAL has 3 teams, not enough, you need 5. And so we cobble together. Other teams are in the same situation. They have a league, but not enough tennis teams to really make a league tournament. And so we play, it's called the Northern Buckeye Tennis League, and we draw, from Ada, actually, is the furthest away, and then Rossford, and then Archbold, Wauseon, and Maumee Valley Country Day.
Okay. All right, so I want to ask you about your goals for the year. What are your goals as a team here?
Well, as a coach, I have to build that Lou Holtz in me. Like, I don't want to state anything. We're just going to try to win each game, and I don't even know if we'll do that. That's kind of my coaching attitude, which is why I have my assistant coaches that are much more positive than me, because I'd be like, I don't know if we can win any this year. Honestly, we want to try to match or do better. We're bringing the same team back. We feel like, given whatever we're given with the weather, how many matches we can play, but we want to play up to our ability, and that's really what it comes down to. I told them, let's not lose a match we should have won. Let's not, have that sort of on our record this year, because we should be able to go out with the teams we know we can beat and get the job done. Now, those matches that we talked about, like OG, Ottawa Hills, Shawnee, we're going to have to step it up, play kind of A-plus tennis, and we know that, and it's a matter of if we're going to do it.
All right, final thoughts before we let you go?
I don't know, I just, if you're out on a nice spring day, not early,
Not like
later on, when it's a nice spring day. Like I said, we have this great facility. It's great to see fans out here. We saw for the girls' season kind of more and more fans as we kept winning, and we love that for the boys too.
All right, Coach Mitchell Owens of the Bryan tennis team, thanks for being with me.
Thank you.
We're going to take this time out, come back with more after this on the Golden Bears Sports Network.
The Bryan Athletic Boosters would like to wish all the student athletes the best of luck in all their sports this year. The Boosters are proud of your commitment to becoming Bryan built. It takes a lot of time and dedication to play sports and be the best student you can be at the same time. Good luck this year. The Bryan Athletic Boosters would also like to thank all of their corporate and individual patron supporters this year as well. It takes everyone to make a community and to become Bryan built.
Welcome back on the Golden Bears Sports Network. Chris Malenga alongside Coach Samantha Fowls of the Bryan softball team. And Coach, ready for season number 3, huh?
number 2 and a half.
2 and a
well,
half.
it's 3,
Yeah.
but its first year got canceled.
Yeah,
so.
the 2020 thing was that. Yeah, we forgot about that. But you got a 22-4 record here. But last year, a very successful season. You were co-NWL champs with Evergreen, 6-1. You were coach of the year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you lost to Lima Shawnee in the district semis. But all in all, a great year last year.
Yeah, we definitely came out strong at the beginning and really were able to build on some of the success of the other programs, the girls' programs as well, and just kind of kept rolling. And we started off on a streak, and I think everyone was kind of like shocked that we were able to do that. And yeah, I mean, it was a good vibe going through the whole year.
All right, so we had some key losses, though. Basically, the whole infield. So Scout Smith, first team All-League. Bree Long, second team All-League. And Alexandra Vreeland, honorable mention, the first baseman, second baseman, and third baseman. So you have, how does that affect your team coming back this year when you lose, like, the heart of your infield?
I think beyond just having those 3 as infielders, they were also leaders on our team. So just a little inexperience coming into the season and just trying to find those people to replace those spots and that vocalness that we were seeing in the field last year. So we're going to expect some big things from girls to step up and take their roles.
Because that really is 2 different things. You have players that can play a position, but you also have team leaders that kind of set the tone for how the season's going to go.
Right, and we were just talking about it in our game at Fairview the other day, like the lack of communication we had, and just we need someone to step up and be that leader and just always talking, always knowing what's going on and helping some of the other girls that are a little newer, a little less experienced to get them going as well.
All right, but we do have some returning letter winners, 7 of them, led off by first team All-Ohio pitcher, NWAL Player of the Year, Addie Arnold, senior. Delilah Taylor, who was second team All-League, she was a senior. Brooke Taylor, a senior. Madison Greiser, a senior. And then Ella Voigt was the honorable mention in league. She's just a sophomore. Kaylee Thiel and Tabitha Taylor. So a lot of letter winners coming back. So the core is still there.
Yeah, we still have that base going into the season, and those girls know how to be successful and know how to work with one another. So hopefully they can kind of rope everyone else in and keep that success going for us.
Let's talk about Addie for just a minute. She set school season records for wins with 21 wins last year, strikeouts 209, and doubles. So not only is she a good pitcher, she's a good hitter as well. But she had a 1.77 ERA and threw 134 in the third innings. When you have a player like that that kind of helps get your team going, how important is that?
Yeah, I mean, especially someone that holds the ball every play. It's definitely important, and I think the girls know, like they know someone's on the mound that's going to be able to take care of it, take care of the ball every single play, and she works extremely hard and will definitely be a major leader for us and a major impact going into the rest of the season.
And not just a good pitcher, she's also a good hitter.
Right.
And base runner.
Yeah, she's our third batter in the lineup currently. Has some flexibility going in and out, but strong and does just about everything right. And I mean, you can see all the time and effort she's put in, and it's really paying off for her.
Let's talk about your coaching staff. You've been here two years plus a little bit. Who do you have helping you out this year?
So we mainly only have a varsity team this year. So it's myself and then 3 varsity assistants, Bryan Arnold, Hillary Staten, and Madison Stockman.
Great, and they can help you do all sorts of stuff. Like when you're doing interviews here, they can run practice.
Yeah, seriously. They're great, and I will never claim to be the most knowing all things, and they're great to help build off ideas with, and they all have their own experience. Hillary coached at Eden for quite a few years, and Bryan's coached not only softball but many other sports, and Maddie's coached at other schools softball as well, and we all have different opinions in good ways because we can kind of help each other and feed off ideas, and it's great collaboration between the 4 of us.
Yeah, and absolutely, when you have coaches that have varsity experience other places, that can only help.
Right, exactly. And I had told Hillary coming into last year, I was like, I'm going to need all the guidance we can get here. First year is always a little nerve-wracking, but I'm definitely settling in second year and ready to roll.
Funny story, because I know Hillary just from back and doing some stuff with her at Eden, but I remember watching her the year before COVID hit. She was coaching at Eden, and I remember watching her against Bryan and just thinking, like, what a fiery personality she is. When she's out there coaching the bases and just firing her team up. It's really nice to have that kind of leadership.
It's so funny because, and she's gonna hate me, but we're talking about her, but just her personality in general, she's actually pretty mild when you talk to her as like a person, and then when she gets fired up about softball, it's such a different personality. But she's great. She's a great person, and love having her here.
All right, let's talk about the season outlook. You guys have started off, you got a couple games under your belt, and how does the season lay out as far as things go for you guys?
I think we have a pretty similar schedule as we did last year, so no game will definitely be easy for us, especially our league games. I think any team realistically in our league can beat anyone on a given day, and that's what makes it exciting, but also very difficult. And we never walk into a game thinking we got this in the bag, because you just never know. And I think we just have to keep our success going and our motivation and enthusiasm going into the rest of the season to keep our success rolling.
Now, that was actually my next question about the league, but whenever you have won a league, you now have the target on your back. How do the girls handle that kind of pressure of being league champions? Now, I gotta believe, though, with what they did in basketball for the last 3 years, I gotta believe it's kind of second nature now.
Yeah, I think they expect to win, and we actually had lost to Fairview the other night. I think it was kind of like a shock, what just happened, and I'm like, let's take these lessons away and keep going. Still so early in the season, and we just got to keep rolling. And sometimes that's what it takes to kind of flip a switch. And yesterday's practice, they came so focused and ready to go. So, Fairview's a great team, and they definitely. We were the only team that beat them last year, so they definitely had a hunch coming in. Yeah. So, but yeah, we just got to keep that rolling, and that enthusiasm that they brought in from the other sports and that expectancy to win, I think is really, shaped our season as well as all the other girls' sports as well. It's just we kind of all work together in these different sports and are able to bring league championships together, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So spring sports, always we talk about the weather, and you guys are really affected by that. In fact, you were supposed to play tonight, and you're in here in the Vets in the beautiful facility inside here, but still you're inside. How hard is it to deal with the weather? Everybody deals with it, but is it hard to get into a groove when you play a couple games and then you're sidelined for a little bit?
I think it is for the girls. It's always kind of a downer being like, we expect to play a game today. Well, I guess we're going to go practice, which practice is great too, but you're always looking forward to those game days. And we haven't been outside in our own field in quite a few days. And you just like being on your home turf and your home field. We are so lucky though to have this facility to practice in, and the girls don't even realize how blessed they are with that.
Absolutely.
So yes and no, but I think with the spring sport, you just have to be prepared. You have to know that coming into the season that, who knows, it might snow, it might be 80 degrees outside.
And you might have 50 mile an hour.
Yeah, it could be crazy.
Absolutely. So what, if you had to lay down some goals for the year, what are the goals that you would have for the year for this team?
I think just keep building every single game, and we have a very young team. We only have 2 seniors starting currently, with Brooke being hurt, and the rest of our team starting as freshmen, sophomores, possibly another upperclassman here or there, depending on position-wise. I think we just have to bring everyone together into that same culture of what we expect out of them and what we know we can do, and just get better every day. And that seems so simple, but mentally better and physically better, and we just have a lot to learn. So hopefully seeing these older girls play can really rope all of our younger girls into that.
Yeah, because we have a good softball program here, Bryan, before you even get into high school, but he's still a freshman's a freshman.
Right. And there's, playing on a 14U team is so much different than stepping onto that varsity field and seeing an all-Ohio seniors, playing against you and being like, well, oh my gosh, so it's just a different environment and different pressure, but I think as the season goes on, they'll only get more and more comfortable.
Let's talk real quick just about the field. Some great improvements this year at the field.
Yeah, so currently, hopefully soon, they will finish. The bleachers are going in. There's going to be 3 sections, kind of like the stacked stadium bleachers like they are at the baseball field. It's not quite as high. Just so we can have more expansive seating and hopefully fill those and bring more fans into our stadium. Once we continue to raise more money, we'll be adding a press box on top of the dugout, and then, little things as well. We'll be getting a new flagpole and just making everything look nice. And we still have our new batting cages that are a couple years old that the girls are loving to use, and the bullpens over there as well.
Yeah, it's a great facility to be in the park, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing. And like I said, even being in here, I feel like the girls take for granted how blessed they are. And same thing when we go out to our field. You see some of the other high school fields, and you don't even realize how amazing your facilities are.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts before we let you go?
Nothing right now. Just thank you for taking the time to come out and talk about softball with us.
We'd love to do it. So Coach Samantha Fowls here on the Golden Bear Sports Network. We're going to take this time out, come back with more in this spring sports preview.
The Bryan Athletic Boosters Board of Directors invites you to become Bryan Built.
The Athletic Boosters support our athletic programs in many ways, and that support is made possible through both corporate and patron support.
We are Bryan Built.
Welcome back out on the Golden Bear Sports Network. Chris Malanga alongside Coach Garret Gleckler of the Bryan track team. Now, you've been involved in the program for several years, primarily the girls coach, but this year you get the whole shebang.
Yeah. I'm really excited. Again, we have all the same, or the majority of the same coaches that we've had the last few years. Ken Cholik was the head boys coach previously, but he coaches at Indiana Tech now as an assistant. So he's part-time here, part-time there. So we're glad to have him on staff. And then we still have Coach Green working with the sprinters. And then we also have Coach Montgomery, who is new this year to coaching pros. So
nice.
Yeah, really excited for the season.
All right, well, I'm going to ask you, start with the girls and kind of just recap a little bit last year. You have some returners come back. First off, you have some good numbers on the girls side.
Oh, yeah, about 40, 45-ish. Yeah.
Nice, that's good. So let's talk about some returning people. So first off, I got to talk about Aquilina Kordick. She's a NWL and district title in the 300 hurdles. I have a special place in my heart for her because she ran track for St. Pat's
for sure.
when I was the athletic department director there, and the track coach. And Rachel Fireovid, regionals in the long jump, and Montessa Vollmer, another St. Pat's kid in the relay, they finished 8th. That is a core nucleus of girls that have had some hardware.
For sure, yeah, and they all have great work ethics. In Aquilina last night, in our first home meet, already showed signs that she's almost tournament ready. At the beginning of the season, she was about half a second off of her best for the 300 hurdles, and she had made it to regionals last year in the hurdles. Yeah,
that's awesome. And then really hurdles and long jump are kind of the girls' thing. Is that what I'm understanding?
You said relays and hurdles, and then also this year we have Kate Thormeyer, who's a freshman, so she'll do more distance events, and then Mara Smith joined as a sophomore. It's her first year of track in high school. I think she did it 1 year, maybe junior high. But we have a couple of distance girls that will help out. But the relays look pretty strong. We're hopeful to put together a really strong 4x4, and then a 4x1 and 4x2. It's kind of broken between some of our newer runners and some that are returning too.
And taking a look at a couple of big newcomers in the upper class, senior Gwen Spangler and junior Liz Kronos. How'd you finagle that?
I don't know. I think it was a 2-for-1 package. One of them decided, based on the other one, basically if one of them had not, I don't know that we would have gotten both of them to come out.
What are they going to be doing?
So Reese will focus in the high jump, and then also more of the sprints, the 1, the 2, and then the 4x1, 4x2, and then she may dabble a little bit in the 400 too.
Nice. So let's talk about the girls and how they match up as far as the league. So you got NWL for track as well. So how does Bryan kind of fit in with the league?
As far as the league, I know Liberty Center has a lot left on the girls' side, and then Wasion will be very competitive too. Patrick Henry is able to put together quite a few events too to be up there. We'll be in the mix, I think, somewhere in the top 3, top 4 in the league for girls, with the hope to be in the top 3. But we have definitely some strong talent in the league.
Yeah, the league. It's funny to me because I've been doing this for a long time. As we were talking before we started this, the league, NWL, like in all sports, is competitive.
Yeah,
it's one of the most competitive leagues.
For sure.
So and track's no different.
Yeah, and when I hear back with distance runners 5-6 years ago when they had like the Vernats, Taylor Vernat, I think it was, and then Liberty Center had the Atkinson girl. I know there's been a lot of talent over the years in the league before I even moved to this area of Ohio.
All right, so let's move to the boys now. We lost a couple of big players in the fact that Owen Pavin and Dakota Shaw They were state or all Ohioans there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
state qualifiers, and
Yeah.
that was big. Poppin was in the 200, and Dakota was in the 400, and then Caleb Kepler was in the relay.
Right.
So those guys are a tough loss, but you have plenty of speed returning.
We do. We have Quinn Brown, Drew Hahn, and Rylan Garza all coming back, and they were key pieces of the relays last year, whether they were an alternate or part of the relay that qualified to state for the 4x1 and 4x2, and then we're just trying to find kind of that last piece of the puzzle. But we do have Colton Smith, who has been jumping into the sprint relays this year too. It's his first year of track. He'd done baseball previously, but this is his first year as a senior, so we're excited to have him.
It's always nice to get upper class talent coming, even if it's new to them, but the fact that they've been varsity in other sports really helps.
Right. Sure.
So he was involved on the soccer team and things like that. So, we can't go talk about track without talking about Josh Taylor.
Right. Yeah.
The kid is just amazing. He had a great cross country year. You're also involved in that.
Yeah.
And just amazing. He's just a great kid, and he's a two-time All-Ohio in cross country. He finished 8th in the 1600 at 4:24:09. I can't even drive a 1600 meter in 4:24, and then 6th in the 3200 at Pickerington North last year. Just a good kid and a good runner.
Oh, for sure. His work ethic is second to none. It's hard to believe this is his last season of high school sports, but I'm super excited to see what he's able to do. I know with indoor season, even though it's not official, he was able to drop both of his times for the 16 and 32, unofficially break the school record in the 3200, and we're looking to make him official here this outdoor season. Yeah.
What are some of the other people we're going to see out of the boys that we?
Yeah, out of the boys. So like I'd said, with the sprint relays, you'll have Rylan Garza, you'll have Drew Hahn, Quinn Brown, and he'll also do the long jump.
Quinn's also a baseball player.
Yeah, it's impressive how he's able to do both in the same season. Then, like you said, Josh, Xander Fackler, who made it to state as a sophomore this past cross-country season, and then made it to the indoor state meet. So we're excited about him too in the distance events. And we do have some new faces that are joining that we've already touched on, but some others too, like Caden Ward will be new this year. Anthony Tomaszewski, it's his first year of track. And then we have a few other faces who it's their first year of high school track too.
So what are your thoughts on the season, and what are your expectations for your team? We can go boys and girls.
So thoughts, I guess since we're talking about the boys, I'll start with them. So they're working hard. Right now our numbers are pretty low. We're only at mid-20s for number of boys, so we're going to have to, come league time, fill in as many events as we can. So some kids will be loaded in 3 or 4 events just to try to fight for that league title. And I think the boys are in the hunt. I know last year we just missed winning leagues by basically the last event. So it came down to the 4x4, and we just got beat by only a point or two. So the goal is to be at the top of the league, and I think that we can piece together a team that's competitive to finish either at the top or at least near the top.
Nice. What about the girls' side?
For the girls, again, too, we have some really good leaders. I know Gwen Spangler has been a great leader. Aquilina Kordick, Lexi Allspaw with the throws too, and I didn't mention her yet, but she's going to be a huge piece for the team this season, as she is closing in on a school record too.
Wow.
But we'll have some seniors that will really help to spark some of the younger underclassmen to be excited as well.
With the numbers you have a league for the girls, you should be pretty competitive in the league as far as being able to fill all the spots.
For sure, yeah. And again, with some of these new runners who, for some of them, it was their first meet ever in high school, we're just excited to see growth over the season and see what we're able to put together come leagues and come districts. And hopefully we can have quite a few advance to regionals and then state for both boys and girls.
I've asked this of all the coaches, but spring sports is always challenging with the weather.
Yeah.
How have you felt so far about what you've had to experience with you got a meet in yesterday? It was cold.
It's been pretty good so far. Again, I work more with mid-distance and distance kids, and as long as it's not under like 20 degrees, we're outside. So for sprinters, though, for the most part, we've been able to get out. There have been a couple of days where it's been rainy and cold, but like you said, we made it through yesterday, even though it was only in the upper 30s.
Yeah.
So.
Big meet schedule this year?
A few meets that I would say will be ones to look forward to would be like Lima Bath. We go there next Friday. That's a fairly big invite where we go against the WBL schools.
Yeah, always tough league.
And we'll see them at districts. Yeah. So that's a good one. And then Liberty Center invite has some from our league. The Diller is a huge one at Ayersville. They've hosted that one for a long time. And then New Haven Relays, that's a new one that we added in Indiana. So we'll go against some of the Fort Wayne talent.
Nice. Awesome. Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck as we go on. I hope you have a great first year with the boys, and keep us posted on how things are going.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, Coach Garret Gleckler of the track team, back after this on the Golden Bears Sports Network.
The Bryan Athletic Boosters would like to wish all the student athletes the best of luck in all their sports this year. The Boosters are proud of your commitment to becoming Bryan built. It takes a lot of time and dedication to play sports and be the best student you can be at the same time. Good luck this year. The Bryan Athletic Boosters would also like to thank all of their corporate and individual patron supporters this year as well. It takes everyone to make a community and to become Bryan built.
Welcome back out on the Golden Bears Sports Network. Chris Malenga alongside Coach Corey Walker of the Bryan Golden Bears baseball team. And Coach, new to the head coach position, but you've been in this program a long time.
Sure, this is actually my 6th year involved. So did 3 years at JV, 2 years varsity assistant, granted 1 we didn't play. Now 6th year here as head coach. So we've been in it for a little while now, which is nice.
So when you talk about people that you've lost as far as seniors, we get 5 seniors. Brevin Deckrosh left with a 382 batting average. Keith Heward a 356. Titus Rohr, Nolan Kidston, Clayton Roop. You knew those kids because you were involved in the program, so you can really kind of speak to how that loss kind of not hurts the program, but changes the program.
Right, it gives us a different identity, especially from an offensive perspective. We lost a lot of our middle of order. With Brevin and Keith in the middle there, that was our power there in the middle. So we got a little bit of a different offensive identity, just because we don't have that strength in the middle. Because they provided us with both of them high average, plus they could drive gaps, and both of them get the ball to the fence at times. We don't quite have those guys this year, but we have different things skill sets that we think will be our strengths.
Just kind of recapping last year, you started out 1-6, which didn't start a great start, but you finished out 12-16 and ended up actually second in the league at 6-1. So a little bit of a slow start, but picked it up there as the season went on.
Sure. I mean, and our schedule's challenging. We had a challenging schedule to start. We started out 1-6, but we saw significant improvement throughout the year, both from those guys that we lost, because a lot of those guys, that was their first year playing varsity baseball. They lost that 2020 season, and unfortunately, they were experiencing varsity baseball the first time as seniors, but also for our guys that are back. We got 6-7 guys back now that have a varsity season under their belt. They know what the expectations of it are now.
And looking at the differences between what last season was and this season, as far as the guys that you lost, you talked about having that power, but I would say, having been around the program a little bit, that athleticism and speed may be key this year?
Right. I think we're more athletic. I think we're definitely a lot faster. We can put a lineup together where 6, 7, 8 guys can not necessarily steal bases at will, but can run the bases really well, which gives us a lot more athleticism out on the base pass. We're a little bit more small ball. We got a bunt, but we can put pressures on teams because we can put bunts down and we can get down the line pretty quick. So we're a little bit different look, but I think it's our strengths that we can take advantage of.
Taking a look at the makeup of the team, you have 3 seniors. Catcher Mikey Wolf is back. He had a 384 batting average last year, 18 RBIs, 13 stolen bases, first team all NWAL. Quinn Brown, your outfielder pitcher, he had a 319 batting average, 19 RBIs, 13 stolen bases. Honorable mention, dual sport athlete. He also runs a track. He was a state track qualifier. And then Ethan Cerny, who was a pitcher for you guys, did a lot of relief pitching last year, and he was an honorable mention player. And so those guys are kind of the core of the team with some of that experience coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys are our leaders, and we were lucky enough to have all 3 of those all winter, which was phenomenal. And we've been talking to them. This is their team once our season starts. Our effort, our execution, that's on them when we're out there, because they're supposed to be our leaders, and so far the 3 of them have done a great job.
Who else might we be seeing on the varsity this year that might contribute?
So we bring back 3 other guys from last year. Dylan Dominic's a junior pitcher infielder. Tayson Deckrosh, we list him as a utility. He plays, he pitches, he catches, he plays third, he plays outfield, so he's all over the place. Noah Hjort is a freshman last year, back as a sophomore, starting second baseman. We bring Jace Kepler back as well. He was injured, unfortunately, last year as a freshman. He's starting shortstop for us. And then we got quite a few other guys from our junior class. We got Landon Schilling, who will hopefully give us innings on the mound. Parker Vollmer, big, strong kid. Hopefully his bat gets going for us in the lineup as well. Colburn Miley, Aiden Pell's a really good athlete out in the outfield as well. And then Sam Harold as a sophomore, kind of took a year off from baseball, so he's kind of catching up a little bit, but really good athlete. Lazarus Lane's playing a little bit for us. Cole Uran, both as sophomores, kind of floating back and forth, and freshman Carter Dominic's playing for us as well.
We saw Carter a little bit on the varsity football field. We saw him on the varsity basketball court.
Right.
So as a freshman, he really brings a lot of just experience on the varsity level already.
Yeah, and that's nice for a lot of our younger guys. Even you talking Jace or Sam, they haven't played varsity baseball yet, but they're both varsity football players, both varsity basketball players. Same with Carter. So they know the expectations of varsity sports, which helps. Now the speed of the game is going to take maybe a little bit to catch up with, sure, but they know the expectation of what comes with the varsity athletics.
So let's take a look at, we talked about a little bit of the hitting with the power being different this year. What about the pitching? Last year, we had Brevin Deckrosh pitched a lot and some of those guys. What do you see out of the pitching staff this year?
Sure, we lost, Ethan Cerny's our top returner, but he's more of a relief role, different look, left side, really good move over to first. So really more of a relief role. So we've lost most of our starting pitching from last year. Nolan Kitston and Brevin Deckrosh were the majority of our starting pitching. Dylan Dominic's back. He's hopefully healthy. He's been struggling with injury for the last couple of years. We're going to be relying on him, both him and Carter, quite a bit. Mikey Wolf will see more time on the mound, Quinn Brown. And then we're trying to figure out some of these younger guys from Noah Hjort, Jace Kepler, Landon Schilling, some of these guys that maybe haven't thrown varsity innings, maybe haven't pitched much in the past, but have good arms. We're trying to see what we can get out of them.
Kind of mix those guys in as you can.
Right.
What keys do you see to being successful this year? Now, as we record this is obviously recorded, but as we record this, you guys opened your season last night against Napoleon. It looked like, just from kind of reading the recap, that it was kind of like a 5-inning pitcher's duel for a while, and then some hits opened up, including I think Mikey Wolf had a couple of hits, and then Carter Dominic as well at a home run.
He did.
So
First game.
It's a different start from last year. Sure. And so what do you think so far, and what are the keys you're going to see as we do this?
We've been hammering all preseason, all spring already. We'll be as good as our pitching and defense. If we can throw strikes and we can make routine plays, we'll give ourselves a chance to win. And, last night that's what we did. Dylan threw 5 innings for us, walked 2 kids. Ethan comes in, doesn't throw a strike, or he throws strikes, doesn't walk anybody. We make 1 error, pretty much make every single other play, and it gave us a chance to win. So if we can do that, we'll have a chance to be pretty successful.
What does the league look like this year? NWO is always tough.
League's going to be good. Archibald brings back. Archibald will probably be the favorite in my opinion. State runners up last year, bring back everybody but 2 people. Obviously, they got DJ Newman, who's going to play at BG.
Yep.
Evergreen brings back everybody but 1 guy. They got RJ Shunk. He's going to lefty, going to pitch at Toledo. So they'll both be very solid. Wasion lost a lot, but they got a lot of athletes. So it may take them a couple weeks to figure out the speed of varsity baseball. They'll figure it out by the end of the year. Liberty and PH were both really young last year, so they bring back a ton. Should be vastly improved. Same with Swanton and Delta. Should be much more improved than last year. So each game's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's not an easy league to play in.
It's not. Anybody can beat anybody. And I know it sounds cliche, but it is true in this league. If you don't show up one night, long road trip, you don't show up, you think you're going to win, you'll get beat.
One of the things that is always interesting about spring sports, especially in covering them for us, is the weather. Spring sports is always tough. So far, have you guys felt like you've had decent weather to do some stuff?
It feels like we have about 3 days of good and then 6 days of bad. Yeah. So, but it is what it is. We're used to it. It's Ohio baseball. It's what we expect. We told them all the time, we can't control that. You can only control certain things. You can't control the weather. But if we're in the gym or we're inside practicing, you can control your attitude and effort when you're in there. Same thing on a cancellation day. If we're canceled, we're going to play at some point. So we got to maintain our attitude and our effort, those things that we can control instead of worrying about if it's 40 degrees out or if it's 70 degrees.
Are you seeing that attitude and effort hold through the beginning of the preseason?
Absolutely. We've been really proud of our guys so far with effort and attitude. Now, things start to change when you start games and certain guys are playing, certain guys aren't. So we have a good group of guys. I hope we can keep that up.
And enough numbers to have a JV team?
Sure, we got 30 total kids out, so about 15 and 15, so works out pretty well.
And
right
who's
now.
handling those? Who's helping out with your coaching staff, I guess, is the next question.
So varsity-wise, Derek Hugg and Kyle Roop, both back from last year, are helping varsity assistants. Colin Parcher is volunteering. JV-wise, Tyler Davey is our head coach, and Adam Wheeler is JV assistant coach.
Nice. So a good group of guys that are helping you.
Right. So, the nice thing is we got 3 former players, we got people in the school. So it's nice to get, especially it's nice to get those former players that played through this program that know the expectations back into it.
Because Bryan baseball does have expectations.
It does. It does. The expectations, the expectation are to win league titles, get to districts and beyond.
Final thoughts before we wrap up?
We're just excited to go. We've been at it for about 5 weeks. It feels good to be outside and get ready to go.
And we will mention the awesome improvements here at Sumter that happened over the season.
Yeah, and we tell our kids all the time, we're spoiled with the facilities that we have. We're so thankful for our parks department because they did this whole thing. They put it up themselves. They put the netting up. They did the seating, all of it on here, and it looks phenomenal. So big thank you to them for that.
We're excited to get baseball back started here in Bryan.
We are too.
All right. Coach Corey Walker of the Bryan High School baseball team, thanks for joining me.
We appreciate it.
All right, going to take a timeout, come back with more after this on the Golden Bears Sports Network. That's going to do it for this edition of the Spring Sports Preview here on the Golden Bears Sports Network. I want to take this opportunity to thank coaches Samantha Fowls, Corey Walker, Garret Gleckler, and Mitchell Owens for joining me. Also, Athletic Director Chad Savage. For everyone here at the Golden Bears Sports Network, I'm Chris Malanga. Have a great day and go Bears!